Back in 1992, I was at a dinner party, or was at dinner, and we broke one of the cardinal rules. We began to talk about religion, at which one of the people at the dinner table said, "Well, Brian, I've got just a church for you," and told me about AMC. And I'd come out of the Methodist church, but whatever. Like the Saturday night, I dreamed that I came to this church, and sight unseen, but I came to this church, and for some reason in my mind, the pianist played a piece by Claude Debussy, who was an impressionistic composer, and I got in here, and she indeed played a piece by Claude Debussy, and this church was everything I was looking for to help me, see that there was more than just this concrete world. Um, Speaking of music, many years ago, a lovely soprano in our bygone choir confided in me that while our divine principles were just what she'd been looking for at church, and if you're new here, if you look on the back cover, you'll see our divine principles. Our divine principles were just what she'd been looking for in a church, but she was struggling with this one. We affirm that communication with spirit is a natural experience and is demonstrated through mediumship. You see, she had looked around at all the message bearers, the mediums in our AMC community that we have on Psychic Saturday, our all-message service that are available to us for consultation. She looked around and she decided for herself, I could never do that. And while I was far from going to seminary yet, I had the wherewithal to say to her, none of us is expected to do that. We just need to know that these things are possible. Have you ever had dreams that have come true, I asked. Oh, yes, she said. And have you ever had a friend or a loved one loom in your mind only to find that they were dealing with something significant? I have, she admitted. There's your mediumship, I said, and it's perfect just as it is. But I'll never be like Reverend Brown, who's our founding minister. I'll never be like Reverend Brown, she said. We already have a Reverend Brown, I countered. And we only have one of you. And your friends and family only have one of you. Now, many years later, we learned in seminary that mediumship, of course, comes in different forms. If those of you who took part of our healing this morning, Reverend Fabienne, who's our senior healing minister, is a medium for healing energies. But it's not just, so healing is not, or mediumship is not just this divine intensification of the mind. I remember going, when I was young, up for a healing one time, and I thought, I was very young, naive, but very enthusiastic, and as I sat down in the chair, I said, I'm going to give this healer a gift to show how evolved I am. And I spun all this energy very quietly up in my head. It was just like a fountain of energy. And when the healer was done, she said, may I give you some advice? And I said, certainly. She said, you're too much into your head. And I thought, so noted. But so you can see mediumship, even though we think it's this elevation of this, that's not all it is. Because true mediumship and this understanding has to be grounded in spiritual and personal security and initiated with a rightful and loving intention. So we're going to explore these ideas this morning. So if you would right now set your bulletin or your hymnal aside, anything you have in your hands, I want you to get into a relaxed position. And I'm going to ask for a little mood lighting, and I want you to close your eyes. We're going to do, some of you have been to some of my breathing classes or been to my services before, we're going to do just a couple rounds of box breathing to get you zoned into a good space. So I want you to, through your nose, please, I want you to breathe in for a count of 4. Inhale. And hold it. Relax into an exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold that emptiness. Inhale through the nose, down to the belly. Hold that fullness. Relax into exhale, and hold the emptiness. Off the nose. Just go on. Now I want you to, while you're doing this cycle, slowly at your own pace, I want you to take one hand and just place it right in your lap below the belly button. Make sure, visualize your breathing, that energy, that breath, that prana into that spot below your belly button. And as you inhale into this spot and you hold that energy, that prana, picture roots extending beneath you into the earth below. Remember, a mighty oak can only grow tall if its roots run deep and wide. Into your roots, nourish them, hold and nourish them. Like a tree, relax into the expiration. Oh, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be at peace, peace, perfect peace. The Scandinavians, the Swedes in particular, have a concept called lagom. It means to have enough. And it means not more than just being satisfied. It means a sense of completion, just as you are, what you have in the moment. It is enough. And with this sense, this ethos, it's a cultural ethos for the Swedes. Not only do they have enough, this moment is enough. You are enough. Softly repeat after me. Divine love always has and divine love always will supply my every need. Repeat that softly. Divine love always has and divine love always will supply my every need. Breathe into your roots. Feel them spreading down and out, intermingling with the roots of other souls. You're part of a great network here on this plane. We regard the root chakra as a source of security, yes, but in the Santana Dharma tradition, it's also where the Kundalini resides. They imagine it as a coiled snake, an ecstatic source of divine energy, divine wisdom. It's coiled there, waiting to be awakened. But it only happens when we realize, truly realize, and know that we are and have always been complete. We are and we always have been whole. You are a mighty, beautiful oak, perfect and complete as you are, growing higher and higher each day.
Quietly return from that grounded, beautiful meditation provided by Reverend Brian. At the base of our being lies the root chakra, the foundation of our energy body. It is the deep red flame of life, the grounding cord that anchors our soul to the earth. Just as a tree cannot rise toward heaven without firm roots in the soil, we too must be rooted and secure before we can reach into the higher realms. This sacred center reminds us that we are safe, provided for, and held within the divine embrace. When the root chakra is open and strong, we feel steady even in times of change, and we trust that spirit will meet all our needs. In mediumship, grounding is essential. Before we open to spirit, we anchor ourselves in the earth's steady and harmonious rhythm. The root chakra is what keeps us balanced as we extend upward to receive. It ensures that our work is not swept away by fear or uncertainty, but flows from a place of strength and trust. Through this grounding, we can hold space for others, becoming steady channels of comfort and healing. When the root chakra is strong, we do not lose ourselves in this spiritual experience. Instead, we become one bridge rooted in love, standing firmly between heaven and earth. Beloved, remember this: to be grounded is to be free. The more secure our roots, the higher we can reach. Just as scripture assures us, you'll be like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither. Psalm 1:3. Our roots in God and in the earth allow us to bear fruit. This is all connected through life, through service, and in mediumship, another extension of the creativity of the oneness of spirit. Let us always walk with steady steps, rooted in faith, grounded in love, and open to the Spirit's guidance, for in this grounding we find our true strength.
I want you to place your hand or your fingertips just right there over your heart. The heart, your heart, which is the source of our capacity to love. It's the nexus between the lower and the higher chakras. We can achieve nothing lasting in our lower fundamental realms of energy without love. And we cannot attain anything higher or advance beyond our own existence, upward or outward, with any meaning without love. Breathe deeply and swiftly into those vast roots of yours right now. Hold it briefly and then quickly release and exhale through the nose. Picture the prana shooting directly into your heart, energizing it. Let's do it again. Breathing deep into the roots. Release it right into the heart. Feel that green luminous chakra becoming energized more and more. When we are personally and spiritually secure, it is easier to engage the world joyfully and lovingly. That is the connection. Keep breathing into your roots. Hold it for a moment. Let prana nourish you, and then release it, spring forward, upward to your heart. When I do this, I can't help but personally just let the corners of my mouth curve into a gentle smile. Breathe that way just a couple more times. And softly repeat after me. I bring this gift with love in my heart. I bring this gift with love in my heart. Softly repeat after me. I bring this gift with joy in my heart. Take a few moments of breath and be in a joyful state.
As you are focused on your love center, your heart chakra, that healing source of your soul, please quietly return. I want to thank Reverend Brian for that beautiful meditation and Julia for that lovely sound bowl. Thank you. The heart chakra is the radiant temple within us, where spirit and matter meet. It is the green flame of compassion, the infinite well of love that flows through every soul. When this center awakens, we remember that we are not separate beings, but threads woven into the same eternal fabric of existence. In mediumship, it is through the heart that the veil grows thin. Spirit does not speak first to the mind, it whispers to the heart. The vibration of love is the true language between this world and the next. When we rest in the heart's openness, we feel the presence of those we love who have stepped beyond the physical. Their essence is felt not in words alone, but in warmth, the kindness, the presence that arises in our chest like a soft light. The heart chakra reminds us that mediumship is not about proving life after death. It is about experiencing love without end. Every message that comes, every vision, every touch of spirit is love remembering itself. And as we live in kindness and compassion here, we align our vibration with that higher frequency where spirit resides. The book of Romans, chapter 5, verse 5, teaches us that God's love has been poured into our hearts through the Holy Spirit, who has been given to us. This connects our heart chakra to Spirit's dwelling place, a true place of pure love. So let us walk as living hearts, radiating forgiveness, peace, and gentleness. Let us become bridges of love between realms, so those that grieve may be comforted, those who doubt may be reassured, and those who seek may find the truth of eternal connection. For the heart is the doorway, and love is the key.
So go ahead and empty your hands, set your hymnal and your bulletins aside. Close your eyes. And I want you to place one hand again below your belly button. Breathe slowly and deeply through the nose. Hold the prana there. Let it activate your roots. And slowly and gently release the air back into the world through your nose. Do this again. One more time at your own pace. To the roots. Feel them come alive, reaching and connecting. Let your tree, your mighty oak, expire into the world. Now move your hand gently to your heart. Once again, take a full, swift breath down to your roots. Hold it for a moment. And release the prana up to your heart, energizing the center of loving energy and intention. Do this a few more times at your own pace. And now, when you're ready, gently touch the center of your forehead with 2 or 3 fingertips. Now, take a fast, rapid breath down to the roots. Hold it, and then quickly send the prana up through the hearts, up to your head, down to the roots. And then release. Imagine it, take it all the way up, through the heart, into the head. The journey of your breath should almost be like an upside down candy cane. The inhalation goes down, curving outwards before you at the root. And when it's released, it swings back up and shoots upward. Continue to channel your breath downward, outward, and let it spring joyfully upward. Again. The Sanatana Dharma tradition tells of a goddess called Chinnamasta whose kundalini released with such power that her crown chakra blew off and the life force that sprung around her nourished not just her, but those in attendance. Breathe. Let it spring joyfully up. Divine connection of yours is a gift meant to be shared, not squandered. Even shared in the smallest of ways. Maybe it's not even perceptibly noticed. It's your gift. Softly repeat after me. I ask thee, O God, to bless it and me. I ask thee, O God, to bless it and me. Down, connecting to the world, to your fellow souls, and up and out. where we all are a mighty, ancient forest of collective wisdom, singing in harmony, upwards and outwards.
Let us return from that beautiful meditation and beautiful music from Julia. At the very top of our being shines the crown chakra, the violet white light of pure spirit. It is here that we touch the infinite, where our soul opens to the vast oneness of the universe and the highest consciousness of God. If the root chakra anchors us to the earth, the crown lifts us to heaven. The crown chakra is the gateway to enlightenment. It reminds us that we are not limited beings of flesh and bone, but eternal sparks of divine light. Through this center, we know, not just believe, but know that we are one with God, one with creation, and one with all souls across time and space. In mediumship, it is through the crown chakra that we receive the purest wisdom of spirit. Messages, visions, impressions flow down like streams of living water. Yet beyond words and symbols, the crown reveals the incredible truth that there is no separation. Those in spirit are not gone, for in God's oneness, all are alive. When we open the crown chakra, we move beyond fear, beyond doubt, into the radiance of unity. We experience mediumship not only as a communication with spirit, but as communion with the divine. The crown reveals that enlightenment is not an escape from life. It is the complete realization that God's presence permeates all things. As Jesus prayed, that they may all be one, just as you, Father, are in me, and I in you, that they all also may be in us. The book of John 17:21. The crown chakra fulfilled is the soul awakening to the perfect oneness to God. So let us lift up our hearts and minds to the highest light. Let us allow the crown to open, that divine wisdom may descend, and that we may walk in the radiance of spirit. For in this union we touch enlightenment, not as something distant, but as the eternal truth already within us. And I'd like to kind of talk freely now, kind of practically to you about how the chakras work. Start more specific with the root and the heart and the crown chakra in terms of mediumship and everyday life, instead of reading from my sermon. Having started mediumship officially, unofficially, in 2011, so if I can do a little bit of math, it's about 14 years now, and doing this full time for over 6 years. The chakras are your source connection to the divine. The root chakra, which is the security, it's the life force, it's the first chakra, it's our base at our spine, that bright red sphere. That is very essential to mediumship. That's not necessarily where you're receiving the messages, but because we're living in this reality of a physical realm, we need to be rooted here. We need to be rooted here. It provides a firm foundation to balance the ego, balance self, mind, body, and spirit. But just as important it is to connect with the higher chakras, with that infinite creativity of spirit, that wisdom of the God force, the root chakra allows us to stay grounded, but more importantly, after providing messages or connecting through meditation, through mediumship, through channeling, through spiritual inspiration, whatever the means of mediumship or higher connectivity with the divine, you need to ground afterwards. If you don't ground, you can't recharge those batteries. If you can't recharge those batteries, your body will go downhill. And the recharging takes many more days afterwards. So that root chakra is so essential for those other chakras to work. If that root chakra is not balanced and in harmony, those other chakras to connectivity to the higherness of spirit will not be as effective, and you won't be as efficient in your means of communication with spirit. If you ever wonder how you can be more grounded or feeling more secure, if you will, with yourself in this reality, always envision a bright red sphere. If you can, add a little texture to it, or as I do, I envision fruit. So I envision a bright red apple, cherry red apple or so. And as I envision that bright red apple, I envision also tasting it, feeling it. It gives a little more texture. But what you're doing is you're creating a more connection than just a clairvoyant vision. So you're creating more reality, more layers, if you will, in that connection to that root chakra. So I invite you to do that from time to time in meditation or through visioning or so. But the root chakra, moving forward now into the heart chakra, everyone has their heart chakra. It is through love. It could be love for your partner, love for your work, love for yourself, love for your family, your kids, your pets, love for nature, love for your hobbies. It's all connected. With mediumship, the heart chakra, it comes from a place of healing, which comes from a place of compassion and love. It comes from a place of service, service upon others, service upon yourself. Love thy God, love thyself, love thy neighbor, all one energy. And through the heart chakra, that chakra needs to be balanced in order to connect with spirit. The more you love, the more you receive in that same energy. And it is a two-way street, but an infinite highway between now, from here into the infinite. So that heart chakra is essential as well. Moving up to the crown chakra. I'd say that the crown chakra, that infinite spark that connects us to the divine consciousness of God, that chakra, that's what keeps us ticking, along with the root chakra. The root chakra keeps us here in the earth plane, but that divine chakra, the crown chakra, is what gives you life into this reality as well. It is probably more than likely, there's no science to this, folks, but once that crown chakra goes off, everything goes off. Physical body and all the chakras, so you can cross over into the light. That crown chakra is not so active as the other chakras because the root chakra grounds you in many ways into the earth because you're here for earthly reasons or else you'd be in spirit. So the crown chakra is activated as it needs to be through prayer, through other acts of kindness, through faith, even through moments of failure and hardship and darkness. That crown chakra is lit. And so I invite you to work with your crown chakra. And I like to envision just a violet light. You can envision a white light as well. And if you want to use some type of fruit, I'd use maybe wine or grapes or something like that, and just taste it. But one thing about the chakras is that they all work in tandem. They're all connected. So you can't just work with one chakra and then the other chakras, they're not active. They're all actively working. So they're all interconnected here. So as your chakras spin, the others are spinning. If you notice that either it could be meditation or through prayer or mediumship that you're feeling like there's a lack of spiritual connection, balance those chakras. It could be a little murky and need a little bit of grease, if you will, on those wheels. But remember, all the chakras are infinitely connected, and every chakra connects you to the divine. So trust that your chakras are always there connected to you because that is your God energy.